Hello everybody, welcome to my review of Shadow and Bone, the third book that I've read in the series. This is technically the first book. This is the first book that she made, the author, and it's the first book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy. And my first thoughts that I'm going to say, this book surprised me. The reviews to this book said, oh, it's going to be so bad. It's going to be it's the worst books ever. Oh my gosh. And so many reviews were like that I was like, oh, this book's not going to be that good. And then I started it, and I was about maybe this far into the book, so around 100 pages in, and I just thought, it's okay. I'm liking it, but then it's just like, okay. And then I got to the middle section. And the middle section, oh my gosh, it is so good. Probably has one of the best chapters in Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, the whole GrishaVerse series. One of the best chapters where Bagra, I don't know if that's how you say the name, but Bagra tells Alina about the Darkling's plans. Oh my gosh. It's just like, oh my god, it's such a plot twist, and it's done great. And that basically is the motivation. I don't really want to, I didn't really want to get into spoilers, but, that wasn't really a spoiler, because it's like you don't know what it is, but yeah. I thought the characters were a little bland, though. This is definitely not, like, my favorite. What did I say this was? Okay. Just making sure, seeing my thing. It definitely isn't my favorite, and there's a couple of problems. Starting with the characters, they're kind of boring. Alina is just this average person, and Mal is just this average guy, and then the Darkling is just this scary guy. There's not really too much of a personality for the main characters yet. I wanted to start, I wanted to make this video when I finished the book, because I finished the book, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make a review now. I didn't, and now I'm halfway through Siege and Storm, so, but yeah. This book is definitely an origin story. There's a lot of setting up in this, and it feels like just like the origin story of a character, which it is. I mean, technically all three books are the origin story, but this one's really origin-y. Like, there's a lot of just setup. It's like the early childhood pages of, like, a biography. It's just, there's nothing really much to it besides for, like, oh, that's a nice, simple plot. Yeah, and that's it. Now let's move on to the second one, which is bigger and better, but we're not talking about the second one. We're talking about the first one, Shadow and Bone. Also, the Shadow and Bone part, like, this title stuff and the thing, it's not really relevant to the story until, like, more than halfway through. I feel like it should have been a different cover, but I guess, like, Bone, really? What the heck is a bone? There's literally should be called Shadow and Stag. But, yeah. This feels like really much like an origin story, and there's not much to it. Also, the plot, I said this briefly before, but the plot it's very focused, but it's not focused but it's focused in a bad way. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this plot is super focused. It knows what the end is going to be. It knows what the beginning is going to be. It knows what everything is. And it kind of feels like too straightforward. Like, there's no, like, plot that, like, okay, it's kind of hard to explain. There's no plot that has twists and turns. That's like, oh my gosh, that's happening? What? It's kind of just like, it's very predictable. The way, like, you're going through the book, and you kind of know how everything's going to happen. And it's very predictable. Yeah, so this one, definitely, it's not my favorite. Also, the thing was, like, Six of Crows. I already read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Those ones did such a good job of, in the first book, Six of Crows, paying off character arcs. This does not really pay off any character arcs, besides, like, Alina a little bit, but even then, not really. It doesn't really pay off any character arcs. Like, Six of Crows pays off so many character arcs. Like, almost all the characters, not all of them, but almost, have, like, a backstory and their motivations for doing the task. This doesn't really. Oh, Alina is this homeless orphan who's some kind of powerful person. She has to save the world. It's not very interesting. Like, Six of Crows had, like, these reasons for the characters to do this. And also the character choices, they're so predictable. I mean, it kind of that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing where it's a good thing where it's like, yeah, they make the choices that make the most sense. Yeah. But their choices aren't interesting. It's like, oh, should you rather go here? So she's Alina. I don't want to spoil it, but she goes to a place and she has an option to do it or don't do it. And it's like, oh yeah, she's not going to do it. Obviously, she's not going to do it. And then it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't happen. Obviously. Which, I mean, like, it's so, like, and the characters kind of, like, they annoy me a lot. But I finished this last year, because it's 2022, but I finished it, like, December 30th or 31st. Maybe even before that, I think, actually. But it's way better than I expected. I was expected to be bored the whole way through with nothing interesting. There was a lot of interesting stuff, especially when she gets to Oz Alta. I'm not sure to pronounce that. When she gets there and, like, the stuff happens where she's, like, learning about the different stuff that's going on, that's really interesting. But the end of the story is very climactic. It's very like a movie, like this. Oh my god, this is the end. It is a TV show, but I feel like it would do better as a movie. I haven't seen the show yet. I'm gonna probably watch that after I finish Ruin and Rising, and then I guess I could give my thoughts about that too. But yeah, Shadow and Bone. It definitely, because I was thinking this is gonna be like, oh, it's such a boring thing. I was actually not looking forward to reading these. I was like, okay, I do want to read the whole series, but this one's not, it's kind of boring. I got this mostly because it was on sale for $20, all 3 books, and I was like, oh, that's such a good sale, I'm just going to get it. So, now it's on sale all the time for $20, but yeah, and then I started reading, and I was like, oh, this book is actually really good. It's not bad at all. And I want to read more of the second book, so I'm going to do that. But yeah, that's mostly my main problems with the book. Overall, I'm going to give it an 81%. Definitely higher than I thought I was going to give it. But still not as good as the other books in the series by quite a bit. So, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll just leave.